Hello,
That sounds
everybody.
so alarming.
What the hell? I was just starting.
Usually you're like, are you good? I'm good. Okay.
I was trying to get us going.
Go.
Golly. All right. Hold on. Let me get back in the.
I know you got to get in the headspace again.
I know. I just got knocked right out of that headspace. All right. I would like your permission to begin. May I begin now?
You can't keep making me laugh. Okay, go.
All right. Hello, everybody. Greetings and salutations, and Happy New Year. Welcome back for another episode of the Back of the Pack podcast, our first podcast of 2023. I am your host, Kyle Walker. My pleasure to be here as always. And we have a special guest with us today, the one, the only, the living legend. You know her, you love her. It's producer Katy. Hello, producer Katy.
That was far too kind of an introduction. Hello, Kyle.
You like that? That was pretty good. Well, you know, new year, nice. New me, all that good stuff. We'll go with that.
Can you put that on a plaque for me?
Sure. Why not? Well, everyone, producer Katy is here just to make sure I behave myself and don't get too far out of line. So, you know, we actually have the babysitter with us this time. Hooray!
I'm not sure that's possible, but sure, let's go.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So, hey, I hope everyone had a great new year. For several of us, our year ended with a race. Our last race of 2022 was the Time Travel 10K, and that was put on by Bodies Race Company out at English Landing Park in Parkville, Missouri. Saw a familiar face out there last week. Let's see, who do we see out there? We had Will and Amanda and Terry and Russell and Melissa. And I know I'm missing some people. And if I'm missing you, I apologize. But it was good to see everybody out there. Hopefully everyone had a good race. I have to make fun of myself just a little bit on this one. So I went out there and I was doing the 10K. And again, it was a chilly morning, but I wouldn't exactly call it cold. But just was not feeling it. Hadn't had the best week of training. Hadn't had the best week of eating like I was going to run. Darn holidays. And so I go out there and I run the 10K and I take my little after picture and I go home and blah, blah, blah. Just any other race. They put the results out in the afternoon. I look up my results. Turns out I PR'd the thing. So I PR'd the stinking race without even really meaning to or knowing that I did. But it was still good enough for fourth in my age division out of 4. So that's how my year ended up.
I'd say that's pretty good.
It was okay. It wasn't too bad. But hey, that was it. 2022 is in the books. So we thought we might actually talk about that a little bit. Just kind of go over what the podcast had done this year, kind of the people we met, the races we did, the experiences we had, which is why Katy's here with us. And so, Katy, 2022 was a cool year. Not too bad for being less than 1 year old, huh?
We had a lot of really cool new things. And I mean, for being, like you said, I mean, we're kind of a baby when it comes to podcasts.
Well, we definitely are. Definitely a baby in the podcasting world and a baby in the running world, at least getting ourselves out there. But one of the things that we do, and if you've gone to our website, I'm sure you've seen this, or if you've perused our website at all, again, www.backofthepackpodcast.com. But we are just a piece of the overall puzzle that is OKKC Sports, and that is Katy's very own brand and brainchild. And one of the things that she has also done is something called KC Stronger. Now, this is kind of the charitable wing of our small little organization. And so anytime we go to a race that has to do with a charity and we can work directly with that charity, you know, we try and have the people on and then we talk about it through the lens of KC Stronger. So Katy, by way of KC Stronger this year for 2022, why don't you give us a little bit of a report of everything that happened on that wing of this here flying turkey?
Well, it was a pretty fantastic year. I would say it was a very busy year. I also work with my son, Ethan. He helps kind of do some write-ups on some things, and he's a very busy college kid. So I shouldn't say kid. Don't tell him I said kid.
He's not a college man.
So it's
He's
fine.
A college man.
College man. But he does some of the write-ups. He talks to some of the people for me. And so he takes that off my plate. But we've been able to talk to and, be a part of the process for a couple of nonprofits this year. One of the biggest ones was the Keeping Clean for Coop, which had the Fighting Fentanyl 5K this year, and it was their inaugural race year. So they're youngins like we are, but they did really well this year. Hopefully they'll do even better next year. One of the things we were able to do for the Keeping Clean for Coop people was build their website and host it for a year, which we're not able to do very often, but it's such an amazing cause. It's trying to fight fentanyl. And it is such a huge thing in our world today because that fentanyl is killing off too many of our young people. It's way too easy to get a hold of. So what they're doing over there at Keeping Clean for Coop is a huge deal. And we are so happy to support them in any way that we can. Do you want to talk about the race a little bit, Kyle? And then I can hop back in.
Yep, for sure. So the Fighting Fentanyl 5K, that took place in June of last year. And again, these folks were the first people to come on the podcast to actually kind of give us the time of day and talk to us. And we were more than happy to promote their event, kind of to the best of our abilities. I'm trying to look here. If you are new-ish to the podcast, and I wish I could find my spreadsheet, but you can never find it when you need it. I'll let you know what episode you need to go back to if you want to listen to them. And it's really worth it because Libby, who was on the show for Keeping It Clean for Coop, it was her son who tragically passed away. And that's what led her to starting this non-for-profit. And to be honest, they're huge in the world. You will see them on national news at this point. One of the fentanyl bills that was just passed, I believe, in Congress actually has Cooper's name on it. Like this family has gotten all the way up to the steps of Washington, D.C. And so it was our 12th episode that we did back in 2022. And oh my goodness, we don't have a date on that. How did I not date these? That's terrible. But anyway, if you go look at our list, it's the Fighting Fentanyl 5K and beyond. It was the 12th episode of the Back of the Pack podcast. It was the first one that featured one of the charities that we have gotten to work with.
Yeah, that's Libby and Randy Davis. And they're amazing people who have fought an amazing fight through what is the worst time of their lives. And my heart goes out to them. And if I can continue helping them through Casey Stronger and Back of the Pack and all that stuff, I will keep going as long as I can. But so we got to work with them. And then we were able to work with the people from Baby J's Legacy of Hope and Braden's Hope for the Cure, and did a little work with the Law Dog race for the Gardner PD. And I think that's it for the nonprofits this year, working through Back of the Pack. So it was a good year. I mean, I feel like we got to help quite a few people. And, we're always looking to help more people.
Absolutely.
We only have 24 hours and 365 days of the year, but we do our darndest.
We seem to fill those things up, don't we? Good, great.
We really do. But Casey Stronger is kind of my baby, and I don't get to put as much into it as I'd like, but
I know it is something that is near and dear to your heart. And honestly, when we started doing this, the Back of the Pack and OKKC Sports and everything that stemmed from it, I know that Casey Stronger was one of the biggest pieces to this puzzle. And so, yes, I know you've not gotten to do as much on it as you would like. That's probably mostly my fault because I keep Katie so busy with Back of the Pack stuff and now Casey Hustle stuff. But we'll endeavor to keep working on that. And then if you or anyone are associated with a nonprofit that could use a little, I don't know, PR, little something, please reach out to the podcast because we will have people on. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to vet the process, I guess. But, even if it's not associated with a race around town, we can at least feature them on our website for Casey Stronger just to get out their names and their missions because we do want to help in this area. So, all right. Well, that's our Casey Stronger part. Definitely something we wanted to cover. Again, that was the Fighting Fentanyl 5K, the Law Dog, Rexy Run, and Hope on the Hill. I'm sure you've heard the ladies from Baby J's Legacy of Hope. They've been on the show twice. Braden's Hope for the Cure was on. And then, yes, we had Libby. She was our first person on. And again, you can find all those old episodes on our website or wherever you get your podcasts. Just scroll backwards. You'll find them. So
You're so
let's see.
helpful, Kyle.
I am helpful. Well, we did in 2022 41 episodes of the
That's
podcast.
crazy.
So
Crazy.
that's pretty good considering we started in March.
Which means you did how many races?
So it was 41 episodes. We did 30 races. And again, the first race I did in 2022 was the Westport St. Patrick's Day 4-miler. I did not do any races in January or February. My first one was in March, and it was the very first race covered by this podcast. So I kind of look at the Westport St. Patrick's Day race as our 1-year anniversary, and that is coming up in March 11th. And I know I'm segueing or not segueing. I'm kind of shooting down a bunny trail here, but we absolutely are going to do a back of the pack podcast birthday party. It's going to be after the race on March 11th at the Westport St. Patrick's Day 4-miler. Hopefully we're going to take over Kelly's Westport, and hopefully everyone will come out and, celebrate with us, wear your shirt, get some group pictures, things like that. And just celebrate 1 year of listening to me drone on about running. So I think that's a pretty good achievement.
I mean, I guess so. I mean, I could sit at home and do that, listen to you drone on about things.
We're celebrating my droning on about things.
Oh, I feel like having alcohol will help that.
Alcohol helps everything when it comes to dealing with me. So let's see. What else we got going on here? So, 41 episodes, 30 races. And not that anybody asked, but I'm going to let you know anyway. That was 163.4 miles that I put on the pavement just to talk racing with all of you good people. Can you believe that? What a nice guy I am. That's just amazing. But nothing. Boy, you are sick. Producer Katie's been sick, as you can tell. Otherwise, the pithy remarks would have been flying in my general direction.
I mean, you would have to be quiet long enough for me to get in a pithy remark.
Oh, okay. Here, I'll shut up. Go ahead. Pithy remark me right now. Do it.
Crap, I got nothing.
Yeah, there we go. And folks, if you're wondering, yes,
I'm on cold medicine.
This is how we talk to each other all the time anyway. Like nothing's changing simply for broadcast purposes.
No.
Let's see. Let's continue to look backwards on 2022. We've had some race directors actually come on the show with us, which has been super fun and something I hope that we can continue doing in 2023. So some race directors that came on, we know Christina from Rexy Run. She was on the show. Our good buddy William from Hope on the Hill, he came on the show. We made a new friend in Chris Cornell from the KC Santa Dash. That episode was super fun. And then the race was a great time. Looking forward to having him on again. And then, of course, we had Dave. Dave from the Garmin Kansas City Marathon was on the show. Hopefully you heard that. And then that led into, I don't know, at least in my opinion, one of the most fun experiences that we had this year, at least for me anyway. So, Katie, what did you think about being at your first official marathon expo?
That was really cool. I could see why you runners get into things like that. I didn't know there were so many things to buy for running, like shoes and the right kind of socks and the right kind of shorts. And oh my goodness, that I used to think it would probably be cheap to be a runner. And oh my gosh, was I proven wrong.
Right. Yeah, that's our
expensive.
Yeah, that's our inexpensive hobby right there is running. Except if you count out the cost of a good pair of shoes, get yourself some, let's say some racing and training clothes. Then, of course, you got to have something to listen to your music. Then you got to have something to carry your music in. And then I don't know, you've got to actually sign up for races. Yeah, our inexpensive hobby is actually quite a pretty penny at times.
I'm going to say that's why I don't run. That's probably not the reason I don't run, but we're going to say that's the reason.
No, I think that's totally the reason you don't run. You just don't want to invest the funds. I understand completely. We're expensive.
I'm just here to work on all of your projects, so I don't have any time to run.
yeah, well, I appreciate that.
But that the Garmin Kansas City Expo was really cool, and Dave was such a super host. Man, he took care of us at every step. He made sure we had everything we needed. They were on top of things. It was greatly organized. It was a good time for sure.
Yeah.
We got to meet so many cool people. I mean, people knew who you were. Like, how cool was that? People were coming up going, "You're Kyle." And I guess that means you're Katie.
That's right. Yep.
It was very surreal and very exciting. And thank you guys again. I know we said it in that Marathon Expo episode, but Man, that was something else. It was really awesome. And just the amount of people that came up and talked to us and let us know that somebody out there was listening to mostly Kyle ramble on, but me sometimes too. I mean, I guess I can ramble, but that was something else. What did you think?
Oh, I loved it. That was definitely my highlight of 2022 was us doing the expo again. And I didn't do it enough because again, we're babies at this. And I've told you guys, I'm a rank amateur podcaster. I am not a professional. So I did not give enough love to the two people that sponsored our being at the expo. That's the law offices of Tel Parrott. He has been a long time dear friend of mine, and he was able to help us out. And then the guy who sold me my house, the real estate offices of Hobie Reber. And again, you guys can find their information on our website, but they put up the dough so that we could have that table and so that we could meet all you guys at the expo. I didn't pay for it. Katie didn't pay for it. The podcast certainly didn't pay for it. And that was through our awesome donors, the law offices of Tel Parrott, and then Hobie Reber, who is a real estate agent. So I have not given them enough love. I am giving them love right now. If you are in Kansas and Missouri and you need to sell your home or you want to buy one, you call Hobie. And then if you are on the Kansas side of the line and you need a lawyer, you call my guy Tel. Yeah.
I know, unfortunately, I've had to use Tel, but he's amazing. And he was a very, very good lawyer. So
the circumstance was unfortunate, but using Tel was not unfortunate. That was actually a wonderful
Using Tel
experience.
was a very good experience. So yes, I'm glad that you gave me his name.
There you go. So yes, they made it possible for us to be at the expo. And then I loved the expo. I love that we did some sound bites and some recordings of folks at the expo. You know, Dave sat down with us, Alex, Sarah, Will, even though the audio on Will's was messed up and we couldn't use it, but he at least took the time to sit down with us. But yeah, it was the best part of 2022. And we got to meet so many people at the expo. I know Jamie and Terry and Russell, and there were tons other, and yeah, you guys are awesome. And I really hope we get to do that again. Our goal in 2023 is to be back at the expo. And this time we'll do it a little bigger and a little better because now we've been through one and we can do it again.
And I know you were able to talk to another couple of races too, so that we got that exposure and we were able to maybe make 2023 even bigger and better because of the expo.
There are some races that I'm talking to that we are in discussions of getting a little bit of a Back of the Pack podcast discount. As soon as I get those wrapped up and firmly in place, we're going to pass that along. So make sure you are on all of our social media. That's on Facebook, Back of the Pack podcast. And then, of course, on Instagram, again, Back of the Pack podcast. I try to keep it pretty standard across the board there. But make sure you're following our social media so that way when I know and I can put it out there, then you will know as quick as you check your social media.
Technically, Back of the Pack will know a little after the Hustle Club,
Yes.
which was something else that we brought on this year.
Indeed. Look at that segueing like a pro here in 2022.
Trying.
Man. So yes, as you guys know and have heard before, we launched a new running club for everyone here in town. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. The KC Hustle Club is kind of our extension of the Back of the Pack podcast. This is to include, not that they were ever excluded, but this is to include runners of all skill levels, all speeds, all paces, all finishing times, all body types. It does not matter if you consider yourself a runner. If you show up at a start line and you cross a finish line, then you are 100% welcome in the KC Hustle Club. You can go out there to kchustleclub.com, sign up. It is a yearly subscription and you get a shirt, you'll get a newsletter, and you're going to get any of the discount codes before anyone else. As soon as I'm given a discount code for something, or if we have any super cool announcements, and we do, you guys are going to know about it before everyone else. And so, again, go sign up for the KC Hustle Club. And again, I am not picking on any of the other clubs in this area. I am a member of some other clubs in this area. They are all wonderful and they are filled with wonderful people. But I know one of the knocks on a lot of them around town are that people can get a little cliquish. There's just a little of, if you're part of this, you're not a part of that. If you're part of that, you're not a part of this. There is none of that here. Everybody, absolutely everybody is welcome. And if you are a member of every other running club in this town, super cool, awesome, love it. You are still welcome here. If you are a member of no other running clubs in town, super cool, awesome, you are welcome here. So we want to be the most welcoming inviting and kind and supportive running club in this area. That is why we do it. Because again, I spent so many years as the fat kid running the 5Ks, and people would say, oh, what do you do? Oh, you're a runner? And you get that look, just that look of, no, you're not. You're the fat kid. Like, you're picked last at kickball. You are not out there doing marathons. Yeah, see, forget all that. There's none of that in the Hustle Club. Sorry, did I go down a bunny trail? I went down a bunny trail. Sorry, Katie.
No, totally fine. I mean, included in the Hustle Club, though, and I know you might have said it, but I stopped listening after a second. We have giveaways and specialty merch that you can only get when you're part of the Hustle Club.
That's right.
One of those things we have going on as a contest right now through the Hustle Club. If you're part of the Hustle Club, you are, how many times can I say Hustle Club, you think?
A few more. A few more and you've hit your limit.
Okay, cool. Okay. So we have a sweatshirt that says, "Every day we hustlin'," that we have on our social media. It's on the Hustle Club Facebook page. Okay, I'm down one more Hustle Club. And our Back of the Pack podcast Facebook page. I'm pretty sure Kyle is getting it out on all the social media too. I don't check his work. I probably should start doing that.
No, just trust me.
I've heard that one too many times, Kyle.
So here's the deal, everybody. You guys are going to hear this here on, let's see, what's today?
You're doing so much better on your timeline.
When this show is released on January 8th, how about that? You guys are going to have 1 week because we're shutting the contest down on January 15th. That's 1 week from Sunday, Katie. There we go. There was the thumbs up.
I was going to give him 2 weeks, but okay, 1 week.
Oh, January 15th. We shut this contest down because someone's getting their sweatshirt while it's still cold enough outside to wear it.
Good call.
There we go. So yes, you have until January 15th. Go ahead and go to kchustleclub.com. Get yourself signed up. Pay the rather light fee for everything you're getting out of it, at least so I believe. And then you'll also get your t-shirt. You will be entered in. And yes, all existing members, even if you were signed up the first day we opened it, everyone is eligible for the sweatshirt giveaway. Yay!
Good job. Good job, you.
I know. Boy, I should have been a used car salesman with the way I can spin this stuff. It's great. So one of the last pieces that we have this puzzle, I don't think we've really done much announcing of yet. So not only do we have the Back of the Pack podcast, which of course near and dear to my heart, this is something I've wanted to do for a lot longer than the year that it's been out. So more than that, more than the KC Hustle Club, more than all of it, we have now, which I think is so amazing, we have ambassadors. Dun, dun, dun. We have people who are fans enough of this show and of what we're doing. They are willing to attach their names to it. They're willing to tell their friends and family about it. They're going to wear the merchandise. They're going to share the episodes. They're going to like the post. They're going to invite people to like the show. These people have actually bought into what we're doing, and I am so grateful for them. And each of them just brings something so unique to the table. So I'm gonna do a little bit of introducing, but not much. Reason being, they are all going to come on the show at some point and talk to us just kind of about their story, about their journey, about how they got to where they are now in their running world, in their running life cycles, whatever you want to call them. But they're going to come and share their stories with us. And so first off, our January ambassador, her name is Sarah. And so you are going to hear from Sarah here in just a few weeks on the show. She's going to be our January ambassador. We also have Alex. And if you are in the running world in this town, you all know Alex. So Alex is going to be on the show. He is an ambassador. He's definitely a KC Hustle Club ambassador because that guy is fast, as he is up there in the top 3 of pretty much every 5K he runs. Next up, we're going to have Amy. And Amy is a pacer here in town. So you've seen Amy pacing at races. She is a longtime runner. And then we have Mark. Everybody will know Mark when you hear his voice or if you see his face. Mark volunteers at every stinking race that gets run in this area. That guy is probably at the expo. He has probably handed you 50 t-shirts now as you've been going to get your packets for races. So Sarah, Alex, Amy, and Mark are now Back of the Pack and KC Hustle Club ambassadors. And I can't wait for you guys to meet them. I guarantee you already have met most of them in your time here in the running community. And then we have we're not calling them ambassadors. They are our special advisors with more titling to come, but I can't make that announcement yet. But we have William and Amanda, who are also very well known here in the KC running community. They are on board to help us out for both Back of the Pack and KC Hustle Club. So we are very excited to have all 6 of them kind of join this group to help get this podcast and this running club and just this whole thing, whatever you want to call it, just to get it to grow and just to get more eyes on it, more ears to it, and more people who I think hopefully they would benefit from a rather accepting running community, or maybe learn a little something from a podcast episode that they didn't otherwise know. And that's really the goal. But we have ambassadors. These are the folks that have kind of bought into what we're doing. And I'm super excited for them to kick off here in 2023. And again, you're going to meet one of them very shortly. So what do you think, Katie? Did I fairly assess the ambassador program?
I think so. I think you did a pretty decent job. I mean, I always think you do a pretty decent job. So I'm certainly glad to be stuck with you on this podcast and this little venture we have going, because it's been a pretty cool year with you, Kyle.
Well, I appreciate it. You stop. Yes. And again, everyone, I have the easy job. I just have to run races and talk. Katie has to put all this nonsense together.
And make you sound good.
Yeah. Good luck with that. So
it's not too bad. It's not too bad.
There we go. I think we have covered our 2022. Looking ahead for 2023, just real quick, we've got the ambassador program. We want to keep growing the Hustle Club. We're going to be at the Battle of the Bean here in just 2 weeks. That's going to really kick off our season. We have the Back of the Pack podcast birthday coming up at Westport St. Patrick's Day 4 miler. We are in talk with other races. We are in talk with some of the race companies. We are going to try and do more with charities and non-profits. We have so much potential coming up in 2023. I get mostly excited and just a hair overwhelmed with everything that could happen in this calendar year with the podcast. And honestly, I hope that every single bit of it does. So that is just our sneak peek into 2023. Are you ready, Katie?
It's going to be quite the year, Kyle, and I'm really looking forward to it. Not to mention, you've got Boston.
I've got the Boston friggin' marathon coming up in April. Now, on that one, I am so intimidated that it's just not even funny. And again, I've done 8 full marathons. I've done Chicago. I've done New York. I've done the Marine Corps, but they ain't Boston. None of those are Boston. So I am definitely intimidated about this race, but I cannot wait to do it. I've got my GoPro, and I'm going to try and record as much of the Boston festivities as I can to get it all back on the podcast so you guys can kind of see as much as I can bring you of the Boston Marathon experience.
Well, you'll also have Berlin.
Yep. Berlin in September. So of my chase of the 6 World Marathon Majors at the end of 2023, I could be 4 stars deep in my 6-star pursuit.
That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, that would just leave London and Tokyo, and I have no idea how I'm going to get those done.
I mean, for a old man with 2 open heart surgeries, I feel like you're doing okay, man.
Well, thank you. And that's something, and that's a good point that I haven't even thought of. I think the episode that gets referenced the most to me when people say, oh, I listen to your episodes or I listen to your show, the one that really seems to stick out to people is my open heart surgery story. So that I thought that was kind of cool. I'm glad my story kind of helped with people. We're actually going to, again, in an episode coming up very soon, we're going to be talking about some more about heart stuff, especially with what just occurred in the NFL with the player who collapsed from a heart attack during a game. So yeah, we're going to talk some more about this subject because it is a personal piece for me. It resonates with other people. So that's just a little sneak peek of an episode coming up. I think that's all we got. 2022, put a fork in it. Stick a fork in it. It's done, man. Now it's onward and upward to 2023. And we are super duper excited. So, Katie, any final words? Hit them. Dazzle them with your brilliance. We are going to baffle you with our BS. All right, everybody. For Katie, I am Kyle. This has been the Back of the Pack podcast. First episode in 2023. Thank you all very much for joining us. We are brought to you by OKKC Sports, and this show is somehow going to be produced by Katie O'Neill. Sorry, producer Katie. This is not going to be a fun one to splice and dice.
It'll be easy peasy, just like all the rest of them.
Yeah, there we go. We're going to go with that. All right, everybody. Hey, great being back. We're super excited. A lot of races coming up as we go flying through winter and into spring running season. So we will be back with a new episode next week, and we'll see you then. Everyone have a great week of training. Done, 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 done.